Now, do you think democracy today is under a greater challenge in our country than in previous eras in our country?
Yes.
Because?
Because of a long period in which we have concentrated power in a single executive. And as we have done that, we have also eroded the other checks and balances that we have had to protect us against that. And that is, we're in a different place now than we have been in, say, the Civil War, because we in fact have a Congress that does not seem to be interested in protecting its prerogatives, and a Supreme Court that is actively working to concentrate power in a single person.
Now, in the Constitution, the President of the United States is the Commander-in-Chief, probably because it was recognized George Washington would probably be the first president. But the power to go to war in the Constitution is given to Congress. Yet we haven't had a declaration of war since 1942. Why do you think people in Congress don't want to declare war anymore when we are actually in war?
Well, there's a difference between the authorization of military force and declaring war, or at least there's a distinction that Congress critters, as I call them, make. And that is that if you go to war, you change over your economy, you do everything as a society to go to war. Our authorizations of military force have been supposed to be more limited than that. Now, of course, in the moment we're in now, we have had neither an authorization for military force or a declaration of war. And the president is operating right now under the War Powers Act of 1973, but as you and I talk, we are 2 days out from that ceasing to be viable in this period, and it's going to be interesting to see what Congress does after that May 1st deadline.
Now, after World War II, a Council of Economic Advisors was set up in the White House to give presidents economic advice. Graham Allison, a former dean of the Kennedy School at Harvard, has suggested they have a council of historical advisors, or historians, so they could give presidents and their senior leaders some sense of history. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I'd like to see everybody reading more history anyway without a council of advisors to have them do it. And I will say, we have had presidents in the past who were extraordinarily well-read in history. I mean, Dwight Eisenhower just jumps to the fore on that one, but there are plenty, Lincoln, of course, and you know, I shouldn't leave out people like FDR, but it would be hard, I think, to put together a council of historians because, by definition, we disagree with each other.
So as you look back on American history, what do you think it is that enabled this group of 13 colonies to go from being a small group of 3 million people, 500,000 slaves, to be the most powerful country in the world by far over such a long period of time? Was it a commitment to democracy? Was it all the land we had, immigration? What would you say is the things that are most responsible for our becoming what we became?
Well, I would say yes to all of those things, but I will say what has made America different, I think, is our ideas. The idea that you were welcome here if you were willing to be part of this society and work hard and contribute to the community. And that has meant that we continually renewed ourselves. It's one of the fascinating that when Ronald Reagan was leaving office, he made it a point that his final speech basically said what I just said, that in fact we are constantly reinventing ourselves. And we are constantly, I think, drawing from our Puritan ancestors to critique where we have been and what we are doing. So we're one of the few countries that constantly complains about how we're not living up to what we should be doing. We're not living up to expectations. And that ability to recreate ourselves every day, every moment, has made us able to embody the principles of our founders and to live things that people like Thomas Paine called for. We have the ability to begin the world anew. That's Thomas Paine in Common Sense in January of 1776. And that ability to continue to make the world anew is what has made us different and able, I think, always to grow and change.
Well, we've been